Welcome to the Liberating River, where spiritual freedom meets soul aligned wealth. I'm your guide, Wanda Nesbit. Let's break free, build boldly, and live fully together.
Have you ever agreed with the group just to keep the peace? Have you ever silenced your truth, nodded along, and told yourself, it's not worth the conflict? You are not alone. I have done that before, multiple times. If you think back, you've done that before too. The need to belong is deeply human. It runs in our DNA. But what if I told you that the very thing we crave, belonging, can quietly become the thing that buries our voice, buries your voice, your values, and your vision? It can be quietly killing your true essence. Today, we're diving into a truth that many feel, but few speak on. And what is it? Well, what does it cost to go along to get along? And more importantly, how do we reclaim the kind of belonging that doesn't betray the soul? I have been touching on the topic of reclaiming your inner authority. And I was recently inspired to dive deeper into this topic because of a video I saw by Gooby, and he's on YouTube. It's Gooby and Doobie. Check him out. The link will be in the description box below. So, what specifically happened, what specifically inspired me was the fact that Gooby referenced Dr. Solomon Asch, ASCH. So I put on my research librarian hat and researched this psychologist. And Dr. Asch did an experiment. It was a, a, a mirror to our own need for approval. That's how I'll put it. So we're going back a number of years. In the 1950s, Dr. Solomon Asch, like I said, a psychologist, ran a now famous experiment, because you know it wasn't famous back then. Okay. 1950s, a lot of stuff was done very quietly. Um, you may have heard of it before. I was just introduced to it by watching Gooby. Um, it referenced, a couple of participants was asked to match the length of lines on a card. Okay, that makes sense. The correct answer was obvious. Okay, again, that makes sense. But here was the twist. All but one person in the room was part of the experiment. So just imagine you have a room full of people and one is a plant, basically. One is yeah, basically a plant. You know, they were just there just to be that 1% challenge, I'll say, an experiment. So they were told to give the wrong answer out loud, right? So they were going to play as a lot of people call it, devil's advocate. And time after time after time, the lone participant, seeing everyone else confidently giving the wrong answer, would conform, would conform, even when they knew it was false. Why? Why did this happen? It happened because I believe our nervous system is wired to equate standing alone with danger because rejection feels like death, but only death to the ego. Because in many families, schools, religions, cultures, and heritages, we have been trained and brow bashed that unity is more valuable than truth. It makes me even redefine what truth is. What is truth? Truth is not about substance anymore. Truth is about acceptance. Is that really true? This is not just about, you know, experiments in the 1950s and using the lines on the cards to see who can do what. It is about how many of us live our lives today. How often do we override our gut to avoid being the outsider? How often do we shrink to fit spaces that stopped fitting us long ago? Groupthink does not just happen in politics or on social media. You know this. It happens in family dynamics. It happens in faith communities. It happens in friend communities, in our nations, in our cultures, even in the way we make financial decisions. The soul does not speak in group think. The soul does not speak in group think. It speaks in whispers. It speaks from the Godhead. It nudges, it stirs. And every time you override that sacred stirring to go along, you are training yourself to ignore the divine within. Groupthink, because that's what I call a groupthink. It's a groupthink. You're conforming to whatever you see people doing. Period. Groupthink is pulling and deteriorating your ability to hear the divine. Let's 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 look at that. Let's take that a little deeper. When you silence your voice to keep the peace, you're not just avoiding conflict. And I'm gonna say something very strong here. You are lying. You are being deceitful. You are not being authentic. You are being unauthentic. And what's worse, you are contaminating your calling. You are disowning your discernment. And let me be real clear. Real belonging never demands your silence. Authen- Authenticity is critical. Authentic community never punishes you for your truth, which means you now have a dilemma: belonging versus authenticity. We, again, whether we've been told verbally or just by action, we have been told we have to choose: be true to yourself or be accepted by others. Sit on that. Think about it. Be true to yourself or be accepted by others. But that is a false trade off. You can belong without betraying your truth. You can be part of something bigger without making yourself smaller. But to do that, we must learn to recognize the quiet signs of conformity. And what is that? It's that tightness in your chest before you speak. It's the smile you're forcing when you disagree. It's that applause you give when you really want to stay silent. That piece right there. Conscious belonging. Conscious belonging. So, how do we start breaking this pattern? How do we stay rooted in both truth and community? It's called align. We have to align. So, I have A. A is, of course, awareness. Notice when you're shrinking to fit. Start by catching it in the moment. No shame, just name it. L, listen to what your body is telling you. What is your intuition whispering beneath the noise? I, inquire. Who benefits when I go silent? Who suffers when I betray my truth? G, you gotta ground. You must ground. Come back to your values. Breathe. Ask that question. What do I know to be true? What do I know to be true? In nurture, nurture, nurture. Build spaces where your voice is not just accepted, but celebrated. Community is not the absence of conflict. That's not what I'm saying, but it is the presence of safety, or at least it should be. So we work on ourselves. We build up those boundaries. That's basically what a line is. You build up those boundaries to protect you. Let's talk about how conformity affects and infects you spiritually. You were not created to perform for acceptance. Said it before. First of all, that's not what God is looking for. Do this and I'll accept you. Do this. No, that's man made. God never said that. God never said that. You were not designed to disappear for the sake of connection. Oh, you weren't. God never said you got to go hide away to be with. He never said that. Because then all of the things that most religions talk about, going out and helping the community and being charitable, mm, is not balancing out. So he's not saying go disappear. Belonging rooted in performance is not belonging. It is bondage. You were made to walk in your truth. You were made to walk in truth, to live in alignment, and to speak with love and conviction. Speak with love and conviction. And here's the spiritual truth about this. When you stop contorting yourself to stay accepted, you make space for divine alignment to take root. You make space for God to, to work through you and to give you things. So, yeah, create those boundaries. Protect yourself. Protect yourself.
Stay tuned. To be continued. Coming next week. Thanks for flowing with us on the Liberating River. Subscribe, share, and come back next week for more wisdom, wealth, and alignment. Stay free, stay grounded, stay bold.